What's happening? How y'all doing? The video gonna be about, I was watching ESPN, I think it was First Take came up, and they asked the question, was Shaq ever the best player in the league? And I thought, Scooby, I was like, huh? Max Kellerman telling you, he came soulful. Kendrick Perkins came correct. Stephen A. tap dancing as usual. He keeps saying he's the most dominant, but he wasn't the best. Turkey, if you are dominating, you are the best. There is no question about it. To dominate means you impose your will. That means that you are the center being of what's going on. If you call somebody dominant, they are the kingpin. Shaquille O'Neal was running the league in the early 00s. I tell this story to anybody who know me personally. They know. The only person that I ever put after Shaq in the early 00s was Tim Duncan. That's the only person that I thought merited that. But Shaq was in a whole nother universe. Shaq doesn't get his due. He was the best player of the 00s as far as I'm concerned because he three-peated. He's the last to three-peat. Look at all them finals LeBron James done gone to. He's 4-6. And done like a decade worth. Steph Curry went half a decade, 5. Those cats never three-peated. And they played with a nice assembly, a roster too. Now, no offense. Now, obviously, Kobe Bryant's going to carries a lot more weight. But Kobe wasn't Kobe when Shaq and them three-peated. He wasn't that. He didn't go to that next level. And you look at that roster with Derek Fisher, then you had Glenn Rice the first year, then you had Rick Fox. You look at that roster, they weren't deep like that. But Shaquille O'Neal was a special freak of being. And I don't agree much with hardly much anything Skip Bayless says. He's entertaining though, but he was right. Shaquille O'Neal for that window that's the best basketball you've ever seen in your life. It may not have been pretty, but it was running it. And, he got robbed out of 3-4 more years as a league MVP. Easily. Because Max Kellerman said it best. Between Michael Jordan and LeBron James is where you find Shaquille O'Neal. You got to give him MVP award almost every year. He was a 20-10 man for like 12, 13, 14 years in a row. Unheard of. Ball handling skills, had footwork, could pass, underrated as a passer. And he definitely, when you see him on Orlando, when he says that Giannis, he was Giannis before Giannis, there's truth to that because he would do that, except for the Euro step. He did everything. He was pre-Giannis in Orlando. So I seen Shaq, and I knew he was bad. He was better than Kobe. I know it's not fashionable, and they ain't got, listen, I got respect for Kobe, but I always was more Shaq than Kobe when they played together, and I ain't faking the funk. And I can definitely say, without a doubt, when they were together in L.A., Shaq was the better player. Okay? If you're the most dominant, everything goes through you. There's a reason when Phil Jackson came to L.A., he told Kobe, he said, look, Shaq's the captain. Now, I don't always go along. Sometimes Shaq throws his 4 rings, and I know he gets insecure and sensitive about certain things. But there was no doubt about it. He came to play. He motivated. He dominated. He was the best player. He was doing things. And I don't like how it's not fashionable to give it to the big guy. That's why Jokic, who won as a center in Denver, who just won the league MVP, it's the first time it's been since Shaq, because they don't acknowledge centers. But then again, Shaq was the last of his kind. And as great as Jokic is, he reminds me a bit of it's still early, a little bit of Arenas Sabonis, but he not quite as depth. But I'm going to tell you something. Shaq is the last of his kind. A lot of these big guys today are too scared to get in the box, and they too soft, and will maybe mess up their fingernails or something. There was no doubts about Shaq. No doubts. And he is one of the greatest ever. He's in my personal 2 to 3 greatest players ever. And I would debate Shaquille O'Neal against anybody. Because if you look at the last 40 years, his dominance, his impact speak for itself. You know, you can put him wherever you want, but his dominance speaks for itself. And when he was in his peak in his prime, as great as anything you've ever seen, as great as anything you've ever seen, he intimidated the league. Let's be real. LeBron James don't scare the league. The only person that I've seen in the last 20 years that I say that's probably scared the league, got you scared, is probably Steph Curry. There's a reason why Shaq and Steph got this mutual love for it, because Steph, he makes your lung capacity. Hey, that guy can pop it, and Shaq did it too. There's only a handful. There's very few guys when they just really just straight got you scared. But Shaq was the whole nine, and I don't even know why they you can tell they run on a segment show, because anybody who says otherwise don't know about no basketball. Yeah, Shaq was all that. He not only was the most dominant, he was the best player, and he was the best player on his team. He was, because he more fundamentally sound than he gets credit for. He's the one who gave Tim Duncan a nickname. He gave people their nickname. He knew the game. He knew the game, and once he figured out, you can nitpick about the free throws or this or that, but he knew the game. He knew the game. And a lot of us used to say, Shaq could have played with anybody. A lot of people couldn't have played with Kobe. But Shaq in his prime, you could put anybody with him. They were going to win. Because he was bringing it home. Once he figured it out, he figured it out. But anyway, that's my thoughts and takes about the first take they up there trying to say, when was Shaq ever the best player and all that. I'm like, y'all wasting y'all time. Shaq was tearing it up 20 years ago. Please feel free to give me your thoughts and takes about Shaq and what you think about what they was up about. Please hit the like, subscribe. I welcome thoughts and comments. I do respond. Thank you. And wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. And, facts speak for themselves. They try to white him out, but you can't. Shaq, one of the greatest ever. I'm out.